Hi everyone, this is Alex of Dig Primal here. Welcome to the part 3 of a 3-part video series all about maximizing nutrient diversity and nutrient intake. So today's video, the last one, is going to be all about practical strategies for diversifying and increasing nutrient intake. And then at the end, we're also going to talk about a big surprise that I have for all of you. So the first thing that I think about when I think about practical strategies for increasing nutrient diversity is I like to make a plan for shopping, and that includes several things. This is going to be make a plan, and then there's going to be a part 2. But when I make a plan for shopping, it involves 2 things. I like to look up things before I go. I like to look up new veggies, new fruit, and new spices and herbs that I can go look into and see what I might want to make. It just really opens my eyes to things that I want to try and makes it easier to create a further plan, which is what we're going to talk about next. The other thing that I like to do when it comes to making a plan for shopping is having what I call a store rescue plan. There's a lot of times where I go into the store and I want to try something new, and I'm kind of browsing and I see something and I don't actually know what it is, and I don't even know what to start looking up. So one website that I like to use is called fooduniversity.com. It's a website that has has a lot of pictures for both veggies, fruits, spices, herbs, all of those things. You can look up the picture first, and then you can browse by things. So basically what I do in the store is I look at the food that it's around, and then in here, if it's tubers or something, I go to that section and I can look it up, and a lot of times the pictures are really helpful, and it helps me know exactly what recipes I want to look up and all those things that will be helpful later on. So that's actually what we're going to talk about. So refrigerator rescue is the next section, and this is because Part 1 for making a plan for shopping is actually quite simple, especially if you just say, well, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to just pick stuff. So that would be easy to do. But the thing is, that makes this necessary because a lot of time foods spoil. So when you don't have a clear plan of what you're going to actually do with the food once you bring it home with all these great intentions to make this new veggie or something, then a lot of times a week goes by and you realize it went bad before you got to it. So the thing that I like to do first is pick out recipes ahead of time, and I will actually be talking about a resource later on that is going to be super helpful for all of you to get this going. But there's a lot of ways to do this. I just like to, when I go to the store, I first browse, and you kind of do this just all the time when you're going shopping, and then when I come home I kind of think about the things that I wanted to try, and then I find the recipes. And not just that, but I also find recipes for leftovers. So this lets me make sure that I have everything. There's nothing like going to the store, getting stuff, and thinking that you have a plan for it, and then looking up the recipes and realize you don't have everything to even make them. So the other thing that the reason I have a plan for leftovers is when you're trying new things, you might want to modify it. So if you tried the original recipe the first time, a lot of times when I try something, I let it be basic. And then that way, if I have leftovers and I didn't really like this recipe, I can modify it. I can throw the veggies into a sauce and make zucchini noodles, and then they kind of get, the new tastes get hidden, and I can still get all of the nutrient density of the new things that I'm trying without actually tasting them as much if I didn't like the original recipe. The other thing I like to do that's really, really helpful and is motivational is I like to see what others are doing with the fruit and vegetables and spices that I want to make. So TV shows are a great option if you have time for that. The other places I go is Instagram. It's really easy to follow a bunch of foodie accounts and get ideas for cool stuff that you want to do with the new food that you get, or even just sneak it into a pre-existing recipe that doesn't necessarily have that already. And then obviously Pinterest is a great place to go because you can just, it's super easy to type into the search the name of what you want to try, and you'll come up with all sorts of stuff. It can range from really easy to really super chef complex and all that stuff. The third thing that I like to do is keep track, because when you're really focusing on increasing nutrient diversity, it's good to keep track of what you're actually doing. So that way you'll know what you've tried and how it went. This lets you stratify, was it the actual food that I didn't like, or was it just the recipe that I didn't like? This one's super easy to deal with because you just try a new thing, or like I said, you can modify leftovers if you have them. If you don't like the food, that actually brings me to my next point, is when you write things down and you know what's going on, it's easier to be persistent because you can track how your palate has evolved. Now, the thing is with trying new food is that palates change all the time. I used to hate Brussels sprouts. Now they're one of my favorite vegetables. And one of the things that I did was just continually expose myself to the taste, and I switched up the recipes that I was doing. And I eventually found recipes. Now, the way I used to make them, they would kind of be soggy and gross. Now my Brussels sprouts are roasted along with some bacon, some duck fat. I mean, they're delicious. So writing things down lets you be persistent in a more systematic way. Now, this leads me to my next point. Point 4 is make it a habit. And there are a couple ways that you can do this. Now, there's been a lot of research to show that if you do something for 21 to 28 days, it becomes a habit. And that's one thing that we want to do when we're focusing on nutrient density and nutrient diversity. The thing is, when you first start doing it, it's going to feel like effort, but once you've made it a habit, then it gets easy, which is exactly what we want. And now, when you know you have a set period of time, even when it does feel like effort, you know that you're going to get to this point, and it's going to make a big difference. So when you're keeping track of it like that, like we said before, it's actually going to be very gratifying. The other thing that I like to do is hold myself accountable. I talk to my friends, my family. I like using Instagram, but Facebook or anything like that. The thing is, nowadays, it's so easy to find support. It's fun to meet new people, talk about things that you have in common, and as a result, you hold yourself accountable with this. And then the other thing that I think for me is the number one most motivational thing that I can do is trend health improvements. And these are some of the things that I track. How my sleep is doing. I know when I eat better, I sleep better. How my energy levels are, which is huge. And then this, I think, is my number one thing I look at, because digestion has such a quick feedback cycle. I can eat something, and then within a couple days or even a couple of weeks, but still I can see the after effects of this, and writing it down helps. And then the other thing that I've noticed that I like to track is cravings, because when I increase nutrients, I've noticed that my cravings just go way down. I don't know if it's because I'm supplying myself with the nutrients, it most likely is, but it's also just when you're filling your entire plate with these nutrient dense and nutrient diverse things, where you're trying new recipes and your palate's always being, challenged and happy, then the cravings for crappier foods definitely goes down. Now, the question is, isn't this so much work? And the thing is yes, it can be a lot of effort to make changes like this, especially with nutrient diversity and density, because it's not something like weight loss where you're actually seeing your pans fit better. It takes a little bit more effort to notice and take note of all the really important health changes that you're making, and that can make it seem like a little bit more effort. But the thing that I've put together, and the surprise that I have for you, is that I've put together a challenge, Nutrient Bootcamp Challenge, and I'm so excited to tell you about this because I've been doing it, and I've had a couple groups go through it, and it's been amazing. So let's get into what it is. You can actually find all the information on it at digprimal.com/nutrientbootcamp. That'll take you to a page that has absolutely all the information you'll need to know. And here's what the challenge is. So the challenge is devoting 28 days, like we said, takes 21 to 28 days to make something a habit, to majorly diversifying the nutrients in your diet. So you're actually going to eat a lot of veggies, fruit, spices, and herbs mostly in the form of tea, just because, if you're not using it as a spice, you're generally going to brew it as a tea. So by doing this, you're going to devote 28 days to really focus on diversifying the nutrients in your diet. So there's actually 3 levels. So you're going to decide if you want to eat 15, 20, or 25 different plants each day. And I know this sounds crazy, but when you think about all your options, it's actually not that much. A sample day could be a veggie omelet in the morning with a tea blend. Now, I like to modulate my tea by looking at the different caffeine levels, the health benefits of each tea, and I pair them together in a delicious way. Now, you could have a big salad with sardines or pork or beef on top, and then you can have, let's say, whatever your dinner big meal is, you can have a bunch of roasted veggies. Now, this right here would easily get you to the 15 a day, if not, with some more effort, 25 a day. So it's actually not as unreasonable as you would think. I also like to finish off my day with a relaxing tea blend that will get me sleeping. So not only do I get the extra nutrients, but I also get all the benefits of those. They help make me sleepy, and I sleep fantastic. So there's going to be a lot of resources to help you along. There's going to be shopping lists for each category, the veggies, fruits, spices, and the herbs, as well as a daily tracking log to help keep track of what you're doing, like we talked about, and why that's beneficial. So these are just examples of what the printouts look like. So these are things that you can take to the store with you. They have, like, for example, here's all the vegetables. It's a huge list, and it has a key if you're interested in eating locally and with respect to what time you can expect it to be available in. So they have all of this with a legend, and then I have a little section on things I recommend buying organic. Now, with the teas and the spices, you can't see it here, but I'll talk to you where else to find this. It has recommended tea blend, tea combinations, and spice combinations. It has a whole list of how to pair them, how to best make it easier to meet your goal of 15, 20, or 25 every single day. Now, you'll also have a daily tracking sheet, so you'll write day 1 here and keep track of everything that you've had. And then this right here will help keep track of all the health changes. And the goal is to keep all of your daily tracking pages. There's 2 for each day, so you want to print out 15. And you'll have links to all of this. And you see how you've improved over the course of the 28 days that you've been making an effort. Now, the big resource that I put together is the Nutrient Bootcamp Challenge recipe directory. So this is what I was talking about when you're ready to go shopping and when you want to have plans for leftovers. You'll be able to say, well, I want to try artichokes, or I want to try asparagus this week, and I never have, and there's going to be a whole list of places to go to. Now, sometimes I found compilations like this, where there's a ton of recipes that someone else has already put together. So, and this list goes on and on and on. I basically have it for every section. On this page, you can also find all the tea combination and the spice blends that are on those printouts that you'll have, but just in case, if you want to have it online, this is going to be another resource for you. So I'm very excited that that's available. Now, you'll also get a daily email, and these emails have a daily tips, and then a daily recipe on them. A lot of them are going to be just exclusive content where I talk about the benefits of the different nutrients, how I go about making my life easier with practical tips, and then, like I said, some days will just be a couple of recipes, some days most days have a recipe on it, but sometimes it'll be more content. So you'll have access to that by signing up. And then you'll also have support. So I hope to make a forum soon once I get this going. Obviously, this is still really new, but in the meantime, there's going to be a private Facebook group where we can all connect. This is the part of keeping yourself accountable that I was talking about earlier. It's so much help to talk to others doing this and stay motivated, find out recipes. This is, if you just find me on alex.digprimal on Facebook, you're going to I'll friend you and I'll add you to the Facebook group. So that's super simple. And then what we're going to end the 28 days with is an ending wellness questionnaire that you'll fill out after what you've kept track for your tracking logs. You're going to be able to go back, and I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and it'll help you really consider what's been going on, how it went, things that you can improve, and this is just a good way to finish out the month and consider how you're doing. So that's been really helpful. So the thing about it starting now is that it's still really new. I've had a couple groups go through it, but it's all been, behind the scenes. Now I want to have as many of you help me make it better. So I would love to get feedback. I'd love to have you on board so that you can help me improve this program and make it a better challenge so that we can help people feel better, sleep better, all of those things that you're going to track on your tracking logs. The more resources we can have for people, the better. So I would love to have you on board to help me improve everything. So don't forget, the way you can find this is at digprimal.com, and you can either go there and click on the pages, through the pages at the top, or if you just want to type it, Nutrient Boot Camp, and it will find you absolutely everything that you want to know. There will be a way to sign up for the emails, sign up for the challenge, and print off all of the resources that you could need. So I'm so excited to have this happen. I'm so excited to get it out there and have people starting to go through it. And if you sign up, I thank you very much for participating. If not, maybe you could help me get the word spread about this challenge. I think it's going to be a fantastic resource for people. I really believe in it. I've been doing it myself, and I've noticed huge improvements in how I feel. So if you could help me get the word out, I would really, really appreciate it. So that's it for now. If you have any questions, please comment below, or you can find me on Instagram all the time. All right, great. Have a good day.